my God, that rodeo, seriously, I still remember. Okay, this is pre-Google, okay? Nobody remembers it anymore, but it's not like you can look up things. And the smell, okay, first of all, nobody ever tells you about the smell of a rodeo. It was like a mile away from the parking lot. And then there is bales of hay piled on the ground. Hay and suede shoes and stockings do not go well, by the way. So ruined my pair of shoes, not happy about that one. And then the accents, the voices, they're so different. And I mean, I lived in the US for about 5 years by now, but then that was like, Northeast, like New York, Pittsburgh, that type of thing. Kansas, entirely different. And then people are so excited about this thing that you can't figure out. Like, and yes, in irony, in hindsight, it sounds horrible, but like, how the hell are you supposed to difference between a calf and a bull? They're all big with four legs and a tail. Like, it's not like you can look up which is which. And they were talking about these events and all these whole new vocabulary. Like, it was like roping and busting. I'm like I need a dictionary here somewhere. Which word goes with what animal? I couldn't tell. And then when I would ask them questions, they were just like, who the hell is this person? Like, where did you come from? And I felt the same way. It was such a mess of a first time experience. But I think, that's part of the value proposition of a journalist. You get exposed to things that you would never normally get exposed to because you don't choose your assignments, you get given them. And, in those days, there was literally a pink slip of story ideas the editor put together with your name on it. You just simply grabbed what was on yours and you went there. You didn't get any preparation time. You didn't get to research. You didn't get to look things up. It was just, hey, meet this person, they're a photographer. Here's your contact, go. And so you did. But you get used to, journalism, I guess, is the most agile profession because you get used to real-time feedback. And the thing about journalism is, if you're a writer, a newspaper reporter, there is a big white space on page newspaper with your name on it. You have to get something in. It is absolutely deadline driven. You can't say, well, that wasn't a good story. You have to come up with something because there is space to be filled. And so you get used to, okay, what story can I tell here? You get used to looking, to observing, to hearing not just what's said, but what's not being said. Because you always have this thing about there's space that has to be filled. And it has to be good value for that space. So what's the most valuable thing in this space that I can translate to there? And I was in the journalism for very long, but I think I was the last generation that really had like some of the old school journalism training and editors and copy editors. And I can still hear the voice of my first editor in my head. Politicians are lying liars who lie for a living. I'm not paying you to write down their lies of the day. I'm paying you to go write what they're lying about. So every time you come back with like, the mayor said, he's like, okay, that's a lie. What did he really mean? Okay, very cynical, but probably he was just born a century too early, maybe a decade too early. But what he really taught us to think about is, what is someone's intent? Does their intent match their words? And when somebody would say something, he would say, think about everything you know about this person. Is this matching? And we call it congruent now, but he was just like, you've got to be able to hear a lie because that's the job of a reporter, speaking truth to power. And if you're simply writing down what they're saying, you're a PR writer, and I'd fire you. So he's like, your job is to go figure out what's not being said. And, that kind of training is invaluable for consultants because we talked about learning to talk to everybody else, talking to anybody about anything. But it also is, I think there is a sense of storytelling, but it's also you get a feel for whose story is not being told. When you facilitate a meeting, you get a filter for, hey, by the way, this is the third time we mentioned cybersecurity. Is somebody from cybersecurity here in this meeting? If not, why aren't they? And I credit that both the observation and connecting the dots and saying it to my journalism training because I got trained to hear for who's not there, whose story is not being told, and invite them in, for God's sake. When you know somebody is not in the conversation, why would you not bring them back in? Because that goes back to the point of the story is richer and better and more accurate when everybody's perspective is told. Same thing. Organizational change effort is more likely to be successful if everybody's perspective is accounted for. So why would you not want to set yourself up for success? Being invitational is not a being nice to people thing. It is the most pragmatic way to set yourself for success. Because I come from lean. The biggest thing is waste. Organizational change is hard. It takes up a lot of people's time and energy. Why would you want to intentionally create waste? Like, invite people in. Let them be part of the story. The more that you do this, the more likely your time will not have been a waste.